We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Ring the notification bell. Share the video if you want to support this college football national rebel outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $ where you make your comment and I'll get to you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. It is Tuesday, March 24th. March 24th. My beloved Golden Gophers have started spring football practice today. And the rumor has it, and I'm the one who's starting this rumor, the Gophers absolutely look sensational. Trust me, I am Greg the Gold in 2026. Thanks for everybody for coming on in. I appreciate it so very much. We've got Stephen McNeely right off the bat. Stephen McNeely, very kind sir. Early peak member for 28 months. Now, according to my Minnesota math, that is 2 years and 4 months. Stephen McNeely, happy Tuesday, everyone. You, sir, very kind, sir, are knighted officially. Cloak and dagger. Stephen McNeely, a big part of our PATC family, has been part of the family for 28 months. Thank you for your generosity, Stephen McNeely. Very much appreciate it. Thank you, so very kind. I knew someone was going to say this. Your graphic should have the Big Ten larger than the SEC. And somebody's going to say the Big 12. Why is the Big 12 smaller than the ACC? My instructions to AI, Gemini, it wasn't to have the Big 10 smaller than the SEC or the Big 12 smaller than the ACC. It just happened to, that's just how it went. And I love the picture so much, and maybe it was going to get controversial by people in the chat, but so there it is. The title of the show is On the Verge. What's the title of the show? On the Verge of a Collapse. Something like that. I stole that sentence from retired former college football reporter, CBS Sports, Dennis Dodd, when he put that on his X account. I stole that. On the verge of total collapse. The Nebraska, the 18 players taking the CSC to court or arbitration. Taking them to arbitration. And depending on what happens in that arbitration, if Nebraska players win, the CSC loses, and all credibility is shot, and this system collapses. There is so many landmines out there, and if any of them go off, the chances of the conferences running into their silos increases greatly. I mean, if the SCORE Act doesn't pass, if the system, I'm just going to call it the system, if CSC doesn't win the arbitration, if the power conferences doesn't win the arbitration against this Nebraska 18 player situation, eventually everyone's going to go in their silo. And I don't know how separate we're all going to be. I don't think we really know. I don't think we know the ramifications of all this happening. You know, it might. Now, I don't want it to happen because I'm afraid that if we go into our own silos, we're going to get comfortable in our own silos and we're not going to be able to see each other all that much. I mean, you and I will, but I mean the teams and all the traditions across the 4 power conferences, but in some ways, possibly maybe going into the silos might be the best thing that ever happened to the sport, because maybe some ideas, some conferences, these silo conferences, they're going to feel more comfortable in trying something, and then it might work, and then all the other conferences are going to copy it. Maybe it's the only way to get a CBA in action. To first go in our own silos. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. I really do not know what the hell is going to happen. But we are on the verge of collapse. If the SCORE Act doesn't pass, and if the Nebraska 18, if they win their arbitration, then nobody's going to pay attention to. There ain't no cap, and there will not be no soft cap if the arbitration doesn't go the NCAA, the CSC, and the Power 4 conferences way on this. So much to talk about. And before we get into that, I love this article that was written. Love it. I absolutely love it. Is Cinderella dead? Is Cinderella in the college football playoffs completely dead? Now, in the college basketball world, in the dance, the mid-majors, the last couple of years, it hasn't gone all that well. In football, we haven't had that Cinderella, school outside the power conferences. They haven't won in this new expanded playoffs. So are they dead? Should G6 be separated from all the Power 4 conferences? Should there no longer be access for the playoffs for the G6? Is Cinderella completely dead? Is there no slipper that can fit on Cinderella's foot? I don't think Cinderella is dead. I don't think it's dead at all. Oh, great. Greg, how can you possibly? You are so archaic. You are the original Minnesota moron. Don't you understand? Don't you understand that a program that $8-10 million, they can't compete against a program of $40 million, of $50 million being spent on the football program? There can be no Cinderella in the college football playoffs, Greg. They should go their own way. They should go. Be careful of what you ask for. Be careful about demanding. Be careful about questioning the credibility of the G6 programs, because some Power 4 programs spend a whole lot more money on their football team than the G6 program. Be careful. Be careful who you attack, because you might be the next one to get attacked. I ain't saying, but I'm saying. So we're going to talk about, is Cinderella dead in the college football playoff world? Put down your comments in the comments section below the video. You know how this works. Super chats supersede all other comments. And when you make a phone call later in the program, the floor is yours. You can talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. Not what I talk about. You can talk about what I talked about in the monologue, but if you want to talk about something else, you go for it. If you want to talk about how your RB1 in spring camp looks absolutely sensational, give me a call and let us know. All right, let's do the roll call. Bruce Harris Boomer is in the house. The architect is here. Tommy Howell, roll tide. Tommy Howell is in the house. Florida man, Go Noles. Stephen McNeely, thanks again. 28 months. Early Pete Cloakendagger. Bob Swanger is in the house. Thank you, Bob. Big Gun Shop is here. Tazbo is here. David Kreitzer is here. The Buckeye, Caleb Ramirez is in the house. Son of Sarek. Yes, these are AI created. Absolutely. OBD Don. OBD Don is in the house. The Purple and Gold, AFKA. UNC is on the verge of an internal collapse. The hammer is getting ready to hit the gavel on several issues with the old guard. Is one of them what they're going to do with the basketball arena? I know that's one of the issues that, again, the problem with North Carolina, we got them at the center of the stage, right? North Carolina is one of the top target for the SEC expansion, according to who we've talked to, and this we said this June 15th, 2024. Big time Big Ten target, big time SEC target, but there's a couple of big issues with UNC when it comes to them being at the center of the stage. Number one, they got to deal with the Board of Governors. Number two, and we talk about it here at Peek Around the Corner, there are different factions at UNC. Now, I happen to believe, the people that I've talked to, we happen to believe that those with interest of the Tar Heels becoming an SEC institution have the advantage at this time. But there are other slices of the UNC family. There's the minority that would love North Carolina, and this is the old guard, to remain ACC no matter what they need to do. No matter what North Carolina needs to do, we need to be the anchor for the ACC. And then there's another slice who used to have more control at Chapel Hill. Another slice that says, no, North Carolina, we got to get into the Big Ten. We got to get into the Big Ten. So not everybody is fully aligned at UNC, but I will tell you, the leadership at this point, everything being equal, everything being allowable, the Board of Governors getting on board, all the other national issues being resolved, everything being even, those that have the interest of UNC becoming an SEC institution, at this point, we believe, have the advantage. But yeah, UNC, there's a lot of issues going on. Jay Chapman looking like Silo City. Tough Tony's in the house. Greg, do you keep stealing your school's hockey coaches? Are you in private talks with Mark Coyle? Yeah, the Minnesota Golden Gophers took St. Cloud State's hockey coach once again. We'll see how that works. Coy's in the house. Adam is here. Buckeye Greg. No Big Ten expansion without Florida State and Miami, period. The Maryland D5 Terps is in the house. The Big Ten has 6 teams in the Sweet 16. But. The Evil Badger. Don't believe the Mad Gophers Minnesota hype. Ooh. Aww. Who else is here? Who else has come on in? Canes fan. Good afternoon, everyone. Go Canes. The CSC is about as useful as the NCAA. I'm just going to remind everybody. The NCAA is us. The CSC is us. We are the ones that created the CFC. We are the ones that agreed upon the settlement. We are the ones that agreed on the guardrails. We are the ones that agreed that the CSC would be the enforcement arm. We're the problem. I'm not trying to come down on a Canes fan or anybody else, but I always see these YouTube channels and everybody saying, oh, if it wasn't for the NCAA, everything would be okay. We got to get rid of the NCAA. We are the NCAA. Our schools are the NCAA. Every one of us. We are the ones that created the NCAA. We are the ones that fund the we are it. We are it. And especially in this settlement, where every single school that is represented in the chat room, you all sign on the dotted line. Every one of you did. The CSC is interpreting the rules, the enforcement of the rules, in how we told them to enforce the rules. So it is us that are not useful. We're the idiots. We can't govern nothing. And then anytime that any governing body that is set up points the finger at a certain institution, they say, oh no, we're going to take you to court. Eligibility, Ole Miss. Now this Wisconsin thing. Miami, everybody, all of you. Anytime we set up these rules, we set up the body, and then the body says, no, you can't do that, and then the school has a fit over it. And here we are, back to the lawyers, back to the agents, back to the courts. I don't mean to be a downer or anything, but I have the only reasons the rules. You know what? I better not go down that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I'm going to really go off. I'm going to really go off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do to make it so we follow the damn rules. Because I love college football, man. It is my sport. I love it. I watch it all. Ask the little general, ask my family, ask my friends. But my God, the underbelly of college football, we don't follow no damn rules. And then we rip on the organization that is trying to govern us. We are the issue. We are the issue. Tom DeBay is in the house. Jansen Roberts is here. Lee Go Gators. Dante's Inferno Purgatory. No cheeseburger for me. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. MGC Suna is in the house. Well, the band Cinderella died a long time ago. Ben White is here. Christopher Hooter, go Tigers. Rich Austin, thanks for coming on in, Rich Austin. Appreciate it. Amy, thanks for coming on in. Back-to-back Utes. Rich and Amy, back-to-back Utes. Jay Stiv, can't wait for the 10-game SEC schedule. Who else? John Dry. Red Raider is in the house. Red Raider Studzilla is here. Cranky Tiger. Thanks for coming on in. Cranky Tiger. Haven't seen you in a bit. Nick the Virginia Tech Hokie. Good afternoon, sickos. We've got a super chat. Christopher Hura. Starting us off. The SEC network is in North Carolina, Charlotte. That's not a coincidence, in my opinion. UNC to the SEC has been quietly in works for years. That's my hunch. The Southeastern Conference forces have been in works for years. Yes, all that is true when it comes to Chapel Hill. I would agree. Thank you for the $5 holler, Christopher Hooter. Very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Skaven, yes, is in the house. He's getting ready for the Sweet 16. Sweet 16. Go Black 45. Go Black 45. Hopefully Go Black 45 has forgiven me. Hopefully he's not upset with me anymore after yesterday when I came out and I said, oh, I think the LSU Tigers could be the story of the SEC and of college football in 2026. Go Black 45 was not happy with me yesterday. But I think deep down, at the time, exactly, when Go Black 45's head hit the cold pillow last night, I think he came to the realization that his LSU Tigers, led by Lane Kiffin and Sam Levitt, are ready. They are ready to make an historic run, and that there is no longer Greg the Kula. There is only Greg the Gold.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
So I don't even think Go Black 45 is mad with me anymore. How about them apples? John Charette is in the house. The real Gorb is here. Hell, West Virginia. Speaking of West Virginia, going through my notes and the 3-year anniversary of the passing of the Golden Blue dude Chris Petrie is a few days away, a week away. I'm going to attempt to do a special tribute to him once again on a live show April 3rd. I'm going to attempt it. I can't. And I know you don't want to hear excuses right now, but I'm extremely busy. This is the busiest time of. But I'm going to try to do a tribute to Chris Petrie April 3rd. So I've been thinking about him. I think about him at this time every year, to be honest. Who else is here? MBM, Oklahoma State Cowboy. Big 12 and ACC keep them from playing. Dave Kreitzer, Rich Austin, John. Okay, everyone's here. Everybody's here. Jay Chapman, I miss Chris. So do I. And we were just getting to know each other. He would hop into the chat room and he'd say all these kind things. And he would remind me not to get, don't let the trolls bother you. That would be his big lesson to me. And we were trading information back and forth on DMs. So, big loss to his family, his loved ones. No question about it. Okay, guys, let's get to it. Cinderella. Let's talk about Cinderella first. Is it dead in college football playoffs? I'm going to ask the question in a poll after I get through this article. We're going to get through it real quick. I'm going to ask the question. Is Cinderella dead in the college football playoffs? And when I say Cinderella, I'm not talking about any team in the Power Four. It's got to be a team outside of the Power Four. All right? Even though there are really Cinderellas in Power Four, but that's what we're going to call it. Cinderella. Can a non-Power 4 Notre Dame team win a game in the college football playoffs? Great article written by Chris Hummer. Could a group of 6 Cinderella emerge in the college football playoff? Building the formula for March Madness like upsets? How teams from outside the Power 4 conferences could cause college football madness. Chris Hummer, CBS Sports. The Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament starts Thursday and Cinderella is unusually absent. Usually a few double-digit seeds danced their way in the second weekend, captivating the nation with their penchant for chaos. This year, only a double-digit seed reached the second weekend. And the 11th seed, Texas, is far too resourced to ever be considered an underdog. At least teams like Utah State and High Point had their moments. But in college football's annual bracket, Cinderella doesn't dance, she runs off the field. A non-autonomous team has reached the college football playoff 4 times. They're 0-4 in those games, losing by an average of 3 touchdowns. It hasn't mattered whether it was a proven group of 5 powerhouse loaded with NFL talent like the Cincinnati Bearcats in 21, or a feel-good story like James Madison. The results is the same, a rout. Nick Saban, remember when he said, look, would we allow the winner of the AAA Baseball League in the World Series playoffs? That's the equivalent of what we do when James Madison gets into the college football playoff and Notre Dame doesn't. I mean, I don't want to start any bleep here, but it is what it is. Crass? Yes. Nick Saban, a little crass? Yeah. Wrong? Not when it comes to the resource gap. Contending rosters in college football next season will clear the $40 million mark per sources. In the G6, only a few programs even approach $10 million. And most are lucky to have rosters that cost even half that number. And yet, upsets are possible. Ladies and gentlemen, the PATC family, upsets are possible. They're rare, but they happen. With only 2 seasons removed from Northern Illinois upending Notre Dame in non-conference play, the same Notre Dame team played for a national title a few months later. That's right. Northern Illinois defeated Notre Dame. I watched that entire football game. And then Notre Dame went all the way to the national championship game. There have been 9 instances, 9, in the last decade where a G5 team has beaten a top 10 Power 4 opponent. 9 times. Not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, 9 times. And there is the list. Houston defeated Oklahoma. Houston defeated Louisville. UCF defeated Auburn. BYU defeated Wisconsin. Now BYU, UCF, and Houston are no longer a G5, G6 program. They're Power Conference program. Cincinnati over Notre Dame. Again, Big 12. Marshall over Notre Dame. App State over Texas A&M. When Texas A&M was number 6 in the land in 2022. Tulane defeated USC 46-45. Beautiful bowl game in 2022. Northern Illinois defeated Notre Dame in 2024. So what would it take for a non-autonomous school team to show up in the playoff and win? History and common sense provide a clear formula. Win the turnover battle. Right? Turnovers are the fastest way to do it. Nothing swings a game more than an ill-timed turnover. In the 9 instances, a G5 team pulled an upset over the last decade. Those teams won a turnover margin of a combined 20-4. Holy smokes. It's not a guarantee of victory, but it's a close to a requirement in order to compete. James Madison won the turnover battle 2-0 over Oregon last playoffs, but still lost by 17. Boise State actually outgained Penn State in the 2024 playoff, but it did not matter as 4 turnovers and a pair of missed field goals erased the edge. Okay, number 2. Good to great experienced quarterback play. That is what Cinderella needs to pull off the upset. A non-autonomy school, they need a good to great experienced quarterback. Tulane, Michael Pratt, Cincinnati, Desmond Ritter had draft picks in the top 10 upsets. UCF started McKenzie Milton. Houston had Greg Ward. When Marshall upset Notre Dame, it started Henry Colombia's 5th-year senior, who was Texas Tech starter for long stretches during the 20 and 21 seasons. Chase Bryce, App State quarterback, who made starts at both Clemson and Duke before his time with the App State Mountaineers. Bryce would go on to throw for nearly 9,500 yards in his career. Northern Illinois started 4-year junior Ethan Hampton. Those were all above average college quarterbacks. Their play ranged from solid to spectacular in those upsets. As a group, listen to this. In those 9 instances in the last decade where a non-autonomy school defeated a Power 4 top 10 program, those quarterbacks in those 9 games threw 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Ward actually outdueled Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. Pratt, Ritter, Milton each accounted for 300 plus yards of offense. Again, have a good, excellent, experienced quarterback, Cinderella, and you've got a shot. Stop the run, protect the quarterback. Stop the run, protect the quarterback. I think that's pretty obvious. We're going to pass through that real quick. Get off the field. You can't give up chunk plays. You survive extended drives. We're going to go through that real quick. Be aggressive on 4th down. Roll the dice, Cinderella. Roll the dice. I think this is something we can all agree with, right? This is what I wanted to get to. Let's go. Let's go, Army of 24. Expand the field. Underdogs get the shine in March. There's an underlying reality that gets lost amid the excitement of the big dance. Underdogs rarely make it deep in the second weekend, and it's okay. It's okay. Only 19 double-digit seeds since 1985 have reached the Elite Eight, and only 12 of those teams are outside the power conference structure, at least as it's currently constituted, and that's fine. It's the dream that matters. It's the dream. It's the hope. It's the delusional grandeur of a college football playoff fan. That is what matters. That's where it's worth noting that the current college football playoff structure makes it difficult for G6 teams. They're almost always the lowest seeded team in the bracket, which means they have to go up against number 5 seed, but not if the field is expanded. Often the 5th seed is one of the few true contenders of that season. That's a mismatch, but not if the field is expanded to 24. But if the field were expanded to 16 or 24, the first round matchup for the G5 might be more favorable. Over the last decade, G5 teams have won 102 wins over AP top 25 teams. Some of those are G5 versus G5 matchups, but that's still about 10 per year. If the field, Army of 24, hold your positions. If the field expands to 24, it increases the chances a G5 team could win an opening round game. Assuming that the top 8 seeds are given a bye, you'd have the highest ranked G5 team matched up against, at worst, the number 9 team in the country. The underdog would still be just that, but it makes the chances of an upset go up considerably. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, is Cinderella dead in the reality of trying to win the whole thing? Can Cinderella win the whole thing? Maybe not. Probably not. Maybe it's become definitely not. But having the ability for the G6 programs to have access to the playoffs, to dream about the playoffs, to get into the playoffs, and possibly win a playoff game, that means everything. That gives hope to everybody. We watch it in March Madness all the time. And again, Cinderella doesn't win that often in March in basketball. Lately, it hasn't been all that much at all. But the excitement of getting the opportunity, it's all worth it. It is all worth it. In a college football playoff of 24 teams, there's going to be 23 games. 23 playoff games. Are you telling me out of 23 playoff games, there can't be one of them with a G6 school? Not one of them with a G6 school? And when that one G6 school gets in the playoffs, do you know who is rooting for that G6 team? The fans of that G6, the conference of the G6, and pretty much every other G6 fan out there in the country. It gets them involved. It gets them buying in. It gets them hoping. It gets them dreaming. It gets them watching. 23 playoff games, and we cannot have one G6 team in the playoffs. And then consider this. If you go through the history of the top 25 after the conference championship games, in most cases, there is a G6 team that is rated in the top 24. So why would you want to deny access to the best G6 team in the country? Or if there's 2 G6 teams in the top 24. And then now they're playing the 9th seed, the 10th seed, the 11th seed, the 12th seed. A much better chance of winning that first round game than playing the 5th seed. Christopher Hooter does not agree with the fat guy from Minnesota. He agrees with the crass Nick Saban $2 holla. Christopher Hooter, purple and gold, Saban is right. G6 is a wasted spot and bad for TV. Christopher Hooter sits alongside Nick Saban at the round table. We got the pictures. We got the videos. Christopher Hooter was sitting right next to Nick Saban and gave him a bowl of that, what do they call that? Crab boil. What do they call that down there? It don't matter. Christopher Hooter was sitting next to Nick Saban at the round table. I wasn't. I was sitting across from Christopher Hooter and Nick Saban at the round table. That's right. I was sitting right next to James Madison representative sitting right next to the Ohio Bobcats representative. I was sitting right next to Cinderella. In fact, I might have even put the slipper on. How about them apples? How about them apples? Okay. David Kreitzer, the Big Ten. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. Thank you for your generosity. Very much appreciate it, sir. Very much appreciate it. Tommy Howell, Crimson Tide. Greg, I disagree. I disagree. David Kreitzer, Big Ten and the SEC consistently said they have no intention of leaving other conferences behind. The Big Ten wants 24 in the postseason, so let's believe them. All right, I do believe them. Army of 24. Army of 24. Let's go. Let's go. It's called a crawfish boil. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Tommy. Gumbo. Crawfish boil gumbo. Christopher Hooter was filling up a bowl for Nick Saban. And I was cutting a piece of Minnesota lutefish to the James Madison president. How about them apples? Ron Lowney coming in hot. There are hundreds of colleges and SEC and the Big Ten are only have a few dozen teams. Screw me over and I don't watch your TV network anymore. And Greg was eating the cheeseburger only once. Only once. Only once. There's no cheese in gumbo. There is no cheese in gumbo. Okay. OPD done. What fish? Lutefish? Okay. All right. So, let me ask the question here. Okay. The question I'm asking is this. A poll question. Should Cinderella be excluded from the CFP? And the definition of Cinderella is a non-autonomy Power 4 school plus Notre Dame, a non-Notre Dame or one of a school in the Power 4 conferences. Should all the G6 be excluded from the college football playoffs? Yes or no? The voting begins now. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Notre Dame would not be one of the... Notre Dame, it's Power 4 conference schools and Notre Dame. Every other school outside of that, we're calling Cinderella right now. I'm going to give you guys 5 more seconds on the vote. I'm absolutely perturbed by this. I'm about to go on a rant. What the hell is wrong with the PATC family? Every once in a while, I get along with my family. I love them, blah, blah, blah. But then I spend some time with them, and I walk out of their house, and I'm thinking to myself, man, these people are more crazy than I remember. That is exactly what I'm feeling right now when it comes to you Einsteins, PATC Einsteins. 5 more seconds on the clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 38% of you say Cinderella should be excluded. 38. Now, I'm glad 62% said no. But I'm shocked that number is not higher than 62%. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. We got to get on to the next story, the big story. Kenneth Maynor, Super Chat. I agree with the buff guy. I think you misspelled the word fat. F-A-T. Fat. I agree with the buff guy from Minnesota. G6 needs at least 2 spots. Most years, 1 from the American and 1 from the Pac-12. Cinderella needs to stay. ECU can win a game. Go Pirates. Go Pirates. I agree with Kenneth Maynor. Thank you for the $10 holler. I appreciate it. And I guess I'm more in line with the Georgia Bulldog, Don Scruggs. Don Scruggs says, yes, they belong if they are worthy. If you're ranked in the top 24, you should be able to go. I think one should be automatically in, though. I think it has to be a 23 plus 1. 23, I can't believe I'm saying that because it really should be 4-4-4-4-2-6. But for today's discussion, 23 plus 1 is the way to go. And that does not cap the G6 at 1. It just ensures the G6 of 1. Ron Lowney is very upset. Public institutions are funded with my tax dollars, you morons. No more funding then. I'm not sure what Ron Lowney's upset about. How did I upset? What did I say? I must have said something. I think he's upset with the Big Ten and the SEC. So let's go to that story. Let's go to that story, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kenneth Maynor. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. Appreciate it. Steve McNeely. All right. The arbitration. Another landmine. ESPN, Dan Murphy, Max Olson, Pete Thamel, earlier this morning. Arbitration case could bring change to college sports, what Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, calls the messy middle. And we're not going to go through this whole article. We're going to go through just some of the important parts of it. We all know what is going on here. Less than a year after implementing a multi-billion-dollar settlement designed to bring in stability to college sports, every Power 4 school signed on to this settlement. The richest teams in football are blowing past the spending cap. The spending cap that their schools agree to follow. Would any of you follow a CBA? Would any of you follow a CBA created soft cap or hard cap? I don't know. I don't trust anybody. The deal known as the House Settlement established a set of rules for paying players that was intended to prevent the top programs from spending at a pace that made it impossible for the other 100 plus other schools to compete. But they driven by a fear of falling behind their peers and a lack of faith that any rules could effectively be enforced in today's college sports world, those top programs have aggressively pursued loopholes to build rosters that are often worth double the money schools are allowed to share directly with the players. Now those rules are facing their first real test. A group of 18 Nebraska football players, backed by their school. Why Nebraska? Why? You signed on the dotted line that you would be okay with the rulings of the CSC, but suddenly they're not. A group of 18 Nebraska football players backed by their school are challenging a recent decision by the College Sports Commission to deny millions of dollars in NIL contracts they signed this winter. Multiple sources confirmed to ESPN. The CSCEO isn't saying anything. The Nebraska officials are declining to say anything. Other brand name programs could follow with similar challenges in the days and weeks ahead, and I'm sure they will. This is a litmus test for the system, one Power Conference athletic director told ESPN. Now, this is where it all comes down right now. The commissioners of the Big Ten and the SEC, the NCAA's two richest conferences, said they are committed to working through the current system challenges rather than explore the looming threat of forming a separate league. Okay, the commissioners of the Big Ten and the SEC, they're committed to working through the current system challenges rather than explore the looming threat of forming a separate league, but they also acknowledge that they are preparing for a future when each conference might have to make and enforce its own rules within that system. The Big Ten is committed to making the new structure work. Petitti told ESPN this week, we need to be prepared. And get how he says this. Get how Silent Tony. Listen to this next sentence. We, the Big Ten, we need to prepare. We need to be prepared. And there is an increased conversation about a system that would lead to an increased conference governance, as the current system faces continued legal challenges. Tony Petitti, there is an increased conversation about a system that would lead to increased conference governance. As we have been reporting for months, Big Ten went to DEFCON 1, SEC DEFCON 1. We told you, we reported to you, chatter behind the curtain. Everybody's taking this seriously. These are not idle threats to go to silo. It's sort of like it's quickening, right? More increased conversations, more conversations. More people are having doubts that we're going to get the SCORE Act, that people they're not ready to give up yet, but they're preparing themselves to say adios. We cannot have this anymore. Greg Sankey, the reality is in the middle of change. It's messy, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey told ESPN. The start's great. The finish could be great. The middle is messy, so we're in the messy middle. And then ESPN talks about the Nebraska case. Again, it's simply the 18 Nebraska players asking for an arbitration, which is in this structure. CSC is denying NIL deals that they signed with Playfly Sports, a prominent athletic department marketing firm. CSC was launched last July to police how college athletes are paid. Athletes can make money through direct payments, rev share, or third-party endorsement deals. Both have limits. Each school can spend a little bit more than $20 million per year in direct payments. That's rev share. Third-party deals must be for valid business purposes, not pay-for-play arrangement. And the CSC, which every school agreed upon, made function to enforce those limits. And so we've got to allow them to enforce those limits, correct? 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 Putting those rules into work in practice is proven to be a challenge. We did not get a hard cap on the settlement, a Power Conference athletic director said. We've got a soft cap, which means we've got no cap. This winter, Nebraska and a whole lot of other programs started to rely on business partners such as Playfly Sports to help pay athletes with NIL deals that don't count toward the school's spending cap. So they're going to have to be okayed by the Deloitte Clearinghouse, right? They're not part of the rev share. The university's board approved an amendment to Nebraska's contract with Playfly in December that would decrease the amount of money the company paid the school. In other words, Playfly was paying all this money to the school, but now that money's going to get decreased. In exchange, Playfly would redirect that money and invest more than $8 million to support NIL activities. In other words, millions of dollars that might have previously flowed through the athletic department were instead diverted to go directly from the school's main marketing partner to its athletes via contracts that do not count toward the salary cap. The CSC is required to apply extra scrutiny to deals in which athletes are being paid by an individual or company closely associated with their school. A rule designed as an obstacle for booster collectives that serve as a main source of payrolls for teams prior to the House settlement. So these NIL deals are supposed to be true NIL deals, not manufactured, not pay-to-play deals. In January, and this is the important part of this, the CSC said it had serious concerns about some of the contracts that marketing firms and apparel companies were offering to athletes. Celia said one common reason for a deal to be denied was a practice called warehousing, in which a company buys the rights to use an athlete's NIL in the future, but doesn't provide specific tasks or deliverables the athlete must complete. So if you're going to do an NIL deal, name, image, and likeness deal, the CSC, the Deloitte Clearinghouse, everybody understood it as a student is going to have requirements to fulfill to get that NIL money. In other words, not pay for play money, NIL. Name, image, and likeness. You're going to sign these photos. You're going to have your name plastered on a poster. You're going to go to this event. You're going to go to that event, a marketing event, a branding event. You're not supposed to be able to make the money by just not doing anything. Everybody understood that, right? An unsigned sample of the agreement Playfly provided Nebraska players requires the player to dedicate a certain number of hours of work in social media posts before the end of 2026, but does not include any specific events or products the athlete would be promoting according to the copy of the contract obtained by ESPN. A parent of one of the Nebraska players told ESPN he was concerned that the deal looked thin on specific requirements when he first saw it. He said he felt like the football team had outsourced their critical thinking to Playfly, which is testing the limits of CSC rules. If Nebraska succeeds in arbitration, many football staffs and athletic department officials around the country said they are likely to interpret the ruling as a sign that the fledgling CSC does not have the legal power to enforce a cap. It does not have the legal power to determine that this is not a real name, image, and likeness deal. Athletic departments officials believe any remaining hesitation about exploiting loopholes could quickly disappear. In which Dennis Dodd labeled this, "We are on the verge of a collapse of this current system," if that were to happen. If Nebraska loses the arbitration case, which is supposed to conclude in the next 45 days, but could be extended, the state attorney general could potentially intercede. A state law in Nebraska prohibits the NCAA or the CSC from penalizing any college athlete because he or she earns or intends to earn compensation for the use of their NIL. If the CSC succeeds, if the College Sports Commission succeeds in blocking the Nebraska deals, many teams have used similar contracts to sign their players will be in a difficult position to fulfill the payments that they promised while building their current rosters. The CSC is trying to show its teeth, one Big Ten general manager said. If they succeed, there's going to be millions upon millions of dollars that aren't delivered to the players. So, as another power conference coach added, if the CSC wins, all these people who spent $45 million are really in trouble. How are you going to find a way to get money through the NIL Go? Because everyone is warehousing, which wasn't supposed to happen. So, basically it means this. Basically, it means the following. If this does not get extended, this arbitration case, we should have a conclusion within the next 45 days. If CSC wins, we're going to have a whole lot of drama. And the drama being that there's going to be a whole lot of players, and a lot of those players are on rosters of the biggest programs out there. They were promised millions of dollars in NIL money, and they're not going to be able to see that money, most likely, if Nebraska arbitration case loses. And how are these players going to get paid their money? They're going to have to submit them through NIL Go. A lot of these contracts will not, a lot of this isn't going to work. So, if the CSC wins the arbitration, we're going to have a whole lot of drama. If the Nebraska 18 players win the arbitration, we're going to have a whole lot of drama. Because that means that the system has collapsed. Now, there is more to the article at ESPN. It talks about how some people are rooting for the system to collapse. And some are not. There are some institutions, some athletic departments that are like, we need a cap. If we're not going to have a cap, if we're not even going to pretend to have a cap, a lot of us cannot compete no more. So, this 45-day, within the 45 days, there should be a conclusion to this arbitration case. And the system was built to have an arbitration case. This was expected to happen at some point, and it's happening right now. And there's going to be more schools that are going to be backing their players that have been denied from the CSC the same type of deals. We're going to see more of this. But the first arbitration case decision is going to set the tone. It's going to either give the CSC some credibility or not. We're either going to have drama in players not getting millions of dollars that they thought they were going to get, or we're going to have the drama of the system absolutely collapsing. And if the Nebraska 18 wins this case, if they win this case, and it really is no cap at all, then everything else is going to be considered not credible either. All the other guidelines and rules and structure and the NIL go. I mean, nobody will use the NIL go. I mean, the whole thing is going to collapse. The settlement will collapse. And that means silo is going to happen. Some sort of silos. Silos that have thick walls to them, or silos in which you can still walk out of the silo and say hi to your neighbor. I don't know. You can still play with your neighbor once in a while. You can play a game of football between the ACC and a Big Ten school. I don't know. Score Act, Nebraska 18. And this is why in the article, Tony Petitti said to ESPN, we need to get prepared. We are having increased conversations. It's a weird way of saying it. We are having increased conversations about having an increased conference governance. And if we go into our silos, we may think we know what it's going to look like. We may think we have an idea. But I don't think we really, I mean, I don't think we really do know what's going to happen if we go silo. I mean, again, there's all different versions of silos, right? All different versions. All different versions of silo. Could be a silo in which the SEC says we only play against each other during the regular season. The ramifications of that are incredible. If the SEC does that, does the Big Ten do that? And what does Notre Dame do at that point? Does going in their silos, does that mean there's only going to be a playoffs that's only going to include SEC teams in their playoffs, Big Ten in their playoffs? Or is the playoffs going to include everybody? But how does that work? If everyone's going by their own different rules, who's going to select the playoff teams? I mean, okay. We're going to get to your phone calls. By the way, Ron Lowney, I understand you're upset, but I don't want capital. We don't use capital in our comments. Can you use the lowercase? You know, we just don't. Nobody really allows that in the chat room. It gets kind of. It's not easy to read. It's not easy to look at. So I understand you're angry. Go ahead and use the exclamation points, but use the same don't go capital the whole way through. All right. Day B, we've got a super chat. Day B, you bullies that want to exclude Cinderellas likely do not use your car turn signals nor return shopping carts to the corrals. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Yes. Absolutely agree, Dave B. You bullies. A lot of 38% of you are bullies in that poll. 38% of you. Holy smokes. The PATC family, the cheese have slipped off the crackers. Unbelievable. Thank you, Dave B. Thank you for your incredible generosity. I very much appreciate it. And I happen to agree with you. No problem, Ron Lowney. I understand you're upset. I get it. And that's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be upset. I'm upset all the time. I'm a Golden Gopher fan. I am the re-elected mayor of Loserville City. I am upset all the time. Okay, let's see. Jose, Seeley is directly inhibiting players, some of which are married and raised in a family, from making a living. I think Seeley is only doing what he's supposed to. Remember, Jose, it was USC and every other school that agreed to the settlement. The House lawyers had everybody under their thumb in that class action lawsuit. And this was the agreement. And this is what everybody decided upon, what was true NIL, what wasn't true NIL. So again, I think Seeley's only doing his job. Michael Smith, Minnesota would be CUSA Conference champ every year. Maybe. Tommy, it seems disingenuous to ask a poll, then be upset with the results. Binary choice poll. You asked and the people answered. You are correct. I asked and the people answered. 38% of you answered it in a way that made the fat guy from Minnesota very angry. I don't think I'm being disingenuous, though. I'm just being real. I did ask the poll, and you guys answered. And thank you for answering. Appreciate it. PATC upsets me daily. I understand, dude. Georgia Bulldog. Okay. Okay, let's open up the phone lines. Talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. When you call in, the floor is yours. Absolutely yours. Give us a call, 763-260-1333. I guess there was a little bit of breaking news here since I've been live. Let me take a look at it. Tommy Tuberville, the senator, Tommy Tuberville, introduced the Student Athlete Act of 2026, aimed at curtailing transfer portal chaos. It gives athletes 5 years to play 5 seasons, while also penalizing a player 1 year for transferring a second time. That's not going to float. And Ross Dellinger says the focus for a realistic Senate bill, though, remains with Senator Ted Cruz and Merritt Cantwell. When you're trying to get a bill passed, and you're trying to connect all these bills together, you got to get a bill passed through the House, and you got to get 60 senators to vote on it. You're not going to be able to get a transfer policy in, or an eligibility transfer policy in, where it says 5 years to play 5 years, but if you transfer a second time, you lose one of those, you get punished. That isn't going to help to get 60 votes in the Senate. Just not going to work. And I commented on this an hour ago. Punishing a player for a second transfer, nah. That ain't going to work. In my opinion. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Rod Nix, the Seminole win. These clowns can't pass a budget, yet they can dive deep into things most Americans are not even impacted by. DC Clown Show.
Call from
Jose, fight on.
Jose, fight on. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I very much appreciate it.
Hello, Go for Godfather. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Doing good, sir.
We got bad news already. Wayman Jordan is out for at least 6 months. His knee issue that had put him out last year. They got to go in there and clean it up again. So he's going to be out till 6 months from now. November would be the earliest he'd be able to come back. So it looks like King Miller will be the starter again.
You know, you guys have had some running back injury issues, haven't you?
Yeah, it's never.
It kind of never stops.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah, it's just. I don't know.
Now he heard it in spring camp, or?
Yep, spring camp. We thought it was fully healed, and apparently something was still there. They said that something was lingering. That he's going to have surgery, cleanup surgery. Go in there and see what it is that's causing him issues again.
Yeah.
But six months minimum, he's going to be out. So we got Wormley. We got a lot of freshman running backs. But yeah, it's going to be King Miller again. So hopefully, I mean, our offensive line, the entire offensive line's coming back.
Yes.
So we got that going for us. And Jade Mayaba is promising that he'll be a little bit more liberal with his running.
Yeah.
He won't, stay in the pocket too long. Because that was the one criticism we started getting towards the end of the year, that there was open space for him to just run and get the first down, but he was holding it too long trying to find an open receiver for whatever reason. But yeah, we'll be okay. Waymo will come back strong by the end of the year when it really counts the most, I think.
Yeah.
And then the bird rule, I really like that. You were just talking about the Tuberville trying to limit transfers.
Yeah.
The bird rule would take care of that. That would incentivize players to just stay where they're at because they're not going to be able to get a better offer elsewhere. So that holistically, without restricting an athlete, they can just choose to stay there for more money. Or if they truly hate that school, or they don't like that coach or the system, or they're not going to start, and they value their playing time over money, then that's fine. Then you could see, hey, this player turned down X amount of dollars because he really values play time. And then that'd be something that the player would have to make a decision on, and maybe it even would look better for them saying that they're not playing for the money. He just wants to play the sport for the love of the game and prove himself and prove it to his family and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I think that if it does end up going in silos, I think all leagues would have to adapt.
I think so. Yeah, I bet if we went into our silos, I think everyone would have institute some sort of variation of the bird rule. Yep.
Yeah, and maybe even more so for a second year you get the bird rule, and then the third year, if you're a third year returning student, you can get even more than a second year. So and then the fourth year you get even more than you could have gotten on your second and third. Kind of have like an escalator.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to pay everything up front. The second year you can be like, hey, you're going to get more in the second year, but then you're going to get even more after that for the third, and then even more for your fourth.
Yep.
And then we can start seeing, athletes staying at one school for their whole career.
Yes.
Like we used to.
Yep. No, I think that's, especially if we go into our silos. Now, if the SCORE Act passes by a miracle and everything, maybe that won't be part of the agreement. But if we go silos, I think the Big Ten is going to do it.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
Makes too much sense.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I read that Pete Thamel article shortly after you had posted it on your feed. The warehousing it's buried, deep within the article, but I think that's the biggest sticking point because they spent about 2-3 paragraphs on it. With these like these NIL businesses like Playfly, they have to warehouse. Like right now, there's no football season, so wouldn't they have to warehouse imaging, whatever public appearances until the football season, gets closer, or maybe during the season? But like you can't have, right now it's basketball season. They really wouldn't. If anything, right now the basketball players should be going out. And, or the baseball players, or the upcoming sport, football needs to be warehoused for now. There has to be a time period. I understand if you warehouse it for 365 days, that's excessive. But you can't be marketing all players, all sports, all the time. There's seasons for each sport. So warehousing is an essential part that Sealy apparently doesn't like.
But I don't think you have to be active in your. I think what they're asking for is, if you're going to get paid, you're getting paid right now for the NIL, and it doesn't mean you have to be doing what your requirements are right now. But there has to be some sort of terms in place of requirement. Like, you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do that, you're going to have to do this. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be going to an event in March or April or May, but you have to know what you're going to be doing in July, August, September. I mean, you can't be just like, oh, here's the money. I'm talking from a CSC standpoint, from the structure standpoint. They're basically arguing, it can't be just like a contract that Playfly is agreeing to pay you this type of money, and by the way, there's nothing set up for you to do right now, or nothing planned in the future either. It's just an empty sheet, empty requirements, because then that's a slippery slope to these players won't do anything at any time. I think that's the argument.
Yeah, then maybe they should have like a deadline, within 180 days of signing said NIL contract. You don't necessarily have to come up with a strategy now, but you have to have formulated one, at least X amount of days before the season starts or something. It's understandable that immediately as soon as they sign someone, they have big plans for them, but they don't have all the logistics hammered out yet, the when, where, and the how. They should grant some kind of leeway to be able to permit. If you sign someone now, say it's what's the last sport they play? Soccer, I think, in the Big Ten. I think it might be soccer. So say you sign someone today, they're not going to be playing soccer their freshman year until 15 months from now. So you could say, this freshman has signed on. He's not going to be playing soccer until 15 months from now. We just need to have something submitted 90 days prior. You know what I mean? Because they might not have everything hammered out of who they're going to send where, or who's going to be doing what. who's going to be the starter, who's, you know, they don't even know what really the team makeup's going to be. Maybe they don't make the team and they get cut.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, you know, you can't put something contractually. You're going to do this, that, and the other, and then the guy doesn't even make the squad because of an injury or something. I don't know. That was just what I was thinking about earlier today when I saw that article. But thank you so much, Go for Godfather. I won't take up any more time. I'm gonna go back to binge watching Traders as soon as you're done. Right on.
Okay, hold on. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, what Traders season are you watching?
Oh, we just started season 3. Wait, I can't believe CT won season 2.
Who?
CT won season 2.
What are you talking? United States?
Yeah, United States won. CT won season 2.
Who's CC? Who's CC?
CT, the big guy. He was friends with Johnny Bananas and the Trishelle blonde. They were on some Real World.
I can't even remember. God, my memory is so bad. Hold on a second.
He was from New York, like a New York guy. His fiance had passed away, and
Oh yes. I'm sorry. Yes. God, wow, my mind is gone. Yes.
Well, it was. Yeah, it's been a while for you because I'm sure you watched it live when it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, that was incredible. And again, that's what makes the show so good because every season is different. It is.
Yeah.
The result in the now you watched season 1, correct?
Yes.
Now don't give away the winners though. Just
okay. Sorry.
But season 3, it gets better. They adjust the rules. They make it so early on in the early seasons, you would declare if you are a traitor or a faithful.
Faithful when you're leaving the castle.
But I think season 3, they changed it up into you do not declare if you are a faithful or a traitor with 5 people left.
Oh.
So the last elimination before the final 4. So you're at the round table. Speaking of round tables, and the last one that gets eliminated before they go circle around the fire, that person does not declare if they are faithful or traitor.
Okay, so then that way it doesn't give away how many traitor imposters there might be left.
You don't know if
genius.
you've done good or not. So the person stands up there and says bye, and they just leave. So then you're around the fire, and if you eliminate somebody, you still don't know, like, have we gotten the traitor? So it makes the game, so that's just one example. They do other things too. The game keeps getting better and better. So you're just getting into the, it's a fascinating game. And season 4 ended a little bit ago. Great season. Incredible season. Have you watched any of the UK seasons?
No, that's what we're going to do next once we get caught up on the US version.
Yeah.
But I accidentally kept clicking the UK one.
Yeah, the UK is awesome. The last 2 UKs, the Celebrity UK show, you don't want to start there though. You want to go from the beginning, just like you do with US. Like season 4, the Celebrity was absolutely bonkers. I mean, it is. The UK does it great. The US does it great. And New Zealand does it okay. There's other shows on there, but all right, get back to it, sir.
I am. Thank you very much. Fight on.
Buddy. Beautiful.
Later,
hold on, everybody. Hold on. I got to clean up something here. if you did not follow that conversation, the Traders on Peacock is the best reality show ever made. The Traders. So get Peacock, give it a watch. Start with season 1. Okay, hold on, everybody. Hold on. Again, if you're new to the program or if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe, ring the notification bell, share the video, smash the like button. The melodrama gets ladled on pretty quick. Are you talking about the Traders, Vox Quindaro? Yes. MBM, give it a chance. Give it a chance. The Traders. Edward the Auburn Tiger. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate it. I never heard of Traders. The Traders on Peacock. It's like the last episode of the last UK Traders show. You can go ahead and Google this. The last episode, all the bars all over the UK were absolutely filled. Everybody's watching the Traders at the same time. It reminded, the media kept talking about how it's like England being in the World Cup. That's basically, people are absolutely transfixed on the Traders in the UK. In India, they had their first season of the Traders in India, and it was their highest rated show ever. Give it a watch. It is the best and all the reality stars that go on the show and try it, they all come out saying the same thing. It is the most difficult, it is the most dramatic reality show ever they've been involved with. Give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. The Big Lubbock, Cody Campbell bought us a Big 12 championship and will do so again this year. I also give credit to Joey McGuire, the Red Raiders coaching staff, and the players, because a lot of teams spent a lot of money last year and they did not win the Big 12 championship. They did not win the Big 10 championship. Look at Penn State, all the money Penn State paid to their players. Drew Aller, Nick Singleton. I mean, a whole bunch of guys. So, yeah, it takes money. It takes money, but it takes a lot of other things. So, congratulations to Cody Campbell, the players, the coaches, the staff. OPD Don, I have enough problems with my own reality show. OPD Don, you've done this program, this channel, and myself a lot of favors. OPD Don, listen to me. You have been incredibly kind to this program, and I thank you. The only thing I can give you, OPD Don, the only thing I can give you is my wisdom. My Minnesota my Greg the Cool. The only thing I can give you, OPD Don, is my wisdom. Go subscribe to Peacock, NBC streaming Peacock. Watch the first season of the Traders. US, UK, go bouncing back and forth, and you are going to have the entertainment. You can have your crawfish boil. You can have your beer or whatever you lose. You Louisiana people that probably don't drink beer like us Minnesota people. Whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do. Watch the Traders, Peacock, and the state of Louisiana. And you will finally say, OPD Don, the first time as a PATC family member, OPD Don is going to say to himself out loud probably, the fat guy from Minnesota isn't isn't always a loser. Sometimes he says something that we got to listen to. And that is Traders is the best show out there. OPD Don, listen to my wisdom. Listen, oh my goodness. Massive super chat. Holy smokes. Rock Chalk, Jayhawk. Wow, here's a couple of bucks. That's more than a couple of bucks, Vox Quindaro. Here's a couple of bucks towards the new backdrop, and congratulations on your new studio. You've earned it. Parts, thank you so much, Vox. Unbelievable generosity. We have the new table. We have the new lights. We have everything, but we're keeping it in boxes, and we got to ship it to where we're going next. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. I don't know what I'm going to do. And to be honest with you, the move is happening tomorrow, March 25th. But we're doing it in March 25th tomorrow. We're sending a whole bunch of stuff here, sending it to where we're going to live. On March 26th, Thursday, we got new living room, new pieces in the living room, because what we had here in storage, not good. Not good. So March 26th, more stuff is being sent. Maybe on March 27th, on Friday, we take apart this and then move it and then have the new everything. But I don't know. I got a feeling I'm going to be doing this show for a few days here in this studio. I am praying for a smooth transition. I'm praying for it. Am I going to get it? No. The one positive thing about this is I got very smart people who are going to be helping in the transition. If it was just me alone, you would not be seeing a live show, episode of PATC for a couple of weeks. Because I would be bumbling, fumbling, stumbling around, connecting things in the wrong spot. It would be a travesty. But because I got very smart people who love me for whatever reason, they're going to try to help my nieces and nephews who are in this world of studio and electronics and computers and all that. They're going to help me transition. The reason why I don't think it's going to go smoothly, is not because of my nieces and nephews who are really, really smart people. The reason is because I am the re-elected mayor of Loserville City. Something is going to go wrong. We're not going to get the internet connection we thought. Something is going to go wrong. Because I'm Greg Pflugar, the re-elected mayor of Loserville City. But Vox Quindaro, I appreciate your generosity. All of that helps. Thank you so very kind, sir. Rock Chalk Jayhawk, you've always been very nice to us. Incredible comments. Very interesting and creative comments. It's much like OBD Don and Jacoba Cat. I love that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Vox. Thank you very much. Very kind, sir. Very, very kind. Unbelievable. Evil Badger. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Vox. Thank you very much. Evil Badger. $5 holla. People from Wisconsin can outdrink anyone. Yes, I would agree. Minnesota is pretty close. Minnesota is pretty close. But yes, Wisconsin, congratulations. Absolutely true. The evil badger and the fat guy from Minnesota, we finally agree on something. Absolutely, evil badger. Thank you for your $5 holler. Thank you for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Wisconsin alcoholics are unmatched. Evil Badger, the Irish outdrink Wisconsin. Now we got people throwing elbows. Now we got people throwing elbows on how much people drink. Rich Austin, Greg, will PATC no longer come to us from the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue? No, it will remain always on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue because I grew up loving listening to both of them. Howard Cosell, Keith Jackson, Kurt Gowdy. Those are the voices of my youth. So no, we will continue in Louisville City, be on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. All right. It looks like, let me make sure I'm caught up here. I want to thank Stephen McNeely, Christopher Hooter for his generosity. Thank you very much. Kenneth Maynor, East Carolina Pirate. Thank you so very much. Kenneth Maynor, you've been very kind to our program. I appreciate it. Dave B, thank you very much. I love your comment. I love your super chat. Vox Quindaro, massive super chat. Unbelievable. Evil Badger, thank you so very much, Evil Badger. Evil Badger, I like that he's more optimistic about the Wisconsin Badgers. There's a certain momentum that the Evil Badger, you can feel it. He's getting more and more. Now he's declared that the axe is coming back to Madison. Wisconsin's going to make a bowl game. He was not happy when I put Wisconsin at number 11 in my way too early order of finish prediction for the Big Ten Conference. The Evil Badger. He's feeling it. He's absolutely feeling it. OBD done. Super chat. $10 holler. I was going to give my 2 cents worth, but I found out we don't have pennies anymore floating around out there, so here's 2 nickels. Thank you so much, OPD Don. I appreciate it. I did go to a store Was it yesterday or today? I went to Walgreens and they say we don't deal with pennies anymore. Walgreens. So it's happening. Thank you, OPD Don. Thank you for your super chat and OPD Don. I'm serious. Go acquire Peacock streaming. And you're going to have hours and hours of enjoyment. The traders. All right. I'm done with my traders propaganda. OPD Don is not affected by it, just like he's not affected. OPD Don does not believe in Golden Gopher propaganda, and he does not believe in the traders propaganda. I might have an update next week. The Evil Badger. Thank you for keeping us updated, Evil Badger. I hope everything lands the way you want it to land, Ryan Willie. Thank you for the $2 holler. I hope everything comes out in the end the way you wish them to come out. Keep your chin up. Keep fighting. I appreciate it. I appreciate your friendship, Ryan Willie. Really do. So again, we're going to close it up. We've been on the air for an hour and 49 minutes. We're going to come on. I don't know how we're going to do this. It probably ain't going to happen until late in the evening. If we do a live show tomorrow, it will, and I think we're going to need to. It's going to be late in the evening on Wednesday, March 25th. It's not, the live show ain't going to be happening in the morning. It's not going to be happening in the afternoon. It ain't going to be happening at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be happening probably in the late evening. I don't want you to give up on PATC tomorrow. If there's some breaking news early, we're going to cover it, but it's going to take a while. Okay? Please be patient with college football peek around the corner. And again, I want to thank those who donated to this program. They help us keep the lights on, grow the channel. Stephen McNeely, Christopher Hooter, Kenneth Maynard, Dave B. Massive generosity by Vox, Quindaro, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, Eva Badger, OPD Dunn, Does It Again, Purple and Gold, and the Eva Badger, Ryan Willie again. Once again, I want to thank all of you for joining us. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, share the video, and I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Rod Nix, Vox Quindaro, God, Family, and Rock, Chalk, Jayhawks, the feeble-minded Flugar. Yeah. I haven't used that in a while, feeble-minded. I'm going to start using that phrase again. But not just about me, but about you guys. Feeble-minded PATC Einsteins who still do not understand that it ain't going to be Greg the Cooler this year. It's going to be Greg the Gold in all of my predictions. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers.